Hi everyone, it's Nancy here, back with another process video for you, and this time it's something a little bit different because I'm going to do a different size layout. I was talking with Me Love Bono in the comments, and we got talking about sort of smaller size layouts, and I decided that I was going to do an 8.5 by 11, or anyway, you'll see through this, but I actually have a bit of trouble trying to work out what size my page protectors are. So here I am just pulling out one of the smaller size page protectors to line it up and see what the size is. And as you can see, I actually cut that piece too big. Here in the UK we have what we call A4, which is 8.5 by 11, and that's the size of that page protector. So I did have to actually cut another background piece of paper for this layout. But now I know what size I need to cut it. So there I am, just using a bit of the Dear Lizzie paper, and it's very old, and I don't actually have many sheets of paper left in this pad, so it's quite good that I'm actually using it up. I'm going to try and use up that paper pad. So here I am, just using the page protector to measure these up. I'm still having problems with my trimmer. I need to find another blade. So here I am, just lining it up with that page protector to make sure it's a real snug fit. Because what I am going to be doing is there is a layout that's going to go on the other side of this. Of course, you know how I work my albums out, and I'm quite happy to put a smaller layout in there. So I just wanted to make sure that I had another one in the same section as that. But I thought after the event I could have actually just typed a page of journaling or something, so it wouldn't have been too much of a loss. And I am actually still going to use 2 photos on this layout. These are the 4x5 photos that I have, but I'm going to cut one of them down. So I've just used a little bit of that wood plank, sort of wood. It's not really wood grain, it's more sort of wood plank flooring sort of paper. And I ended up using that, as I say, a little bit, and that's from the Maggie Holmes paper, I believe. So I'm just going to map my 2 photos on a bit of white cardstock here. And as I say, the tone of the photo is, quite different, because one's a close-up, so it's kind of much lighter. It was quite a sort of overcast day in a way. Wasn't great light, so there's sort of a close-up and then a distance photo. This photo is actually of the Wallace monument in Scotland. So this is going to be a very simple page. I hadn't actually done an 8.5 by 11 page for probably nearly a year. But it came together really quickly. This took me just over half an hour, about 35 minutes, so it's not that bad at all. And it does of course mean that you're limited on space, but I'm quite chuffed that I managed to still get two photos on this layout. So of course I'm doing the same technique that I do on my larger layouts, so I'm just adding some mist. And that was my Route 66, and here I am using the dreaded Mr. Huey's, and that's in classic tan, and I'm just trying to use this up because I really don't like it, but I'm trying to make myself use it. It goes fine on like cardstock, but it just doesn't work on anything that's like vaguely shiny. So here I am pulling out the bundled sage, and I'm just using that with my favourite sort of plus sign stamp. So again, just adding a little bit of texture and just adding my photos in there. I've used one of the smaller size doilies on this layout, and just adding those to 2 points on the layout there. And again, I really love that size actually. It's really great for this smaller layout, so I didn't think about that when I bought them, but actually, it works on a smaller layout. Which again is I suppose why their doilies are mostly for card making. I find them in the card making supply section. So I've just cut a fishtail on the end of that piece of wood grain paper. And here I am pulling a border strip, and this is off the Sleigh Ride or Sleigh Bells, can't remember what it's called. And as I say, that is a Christmas collection, but it works. So there I am just cleaning my photos off with a piece of rag because I actually got mist and fingerprints and stuff on them. But as I was saying, yes, this is just a border strip, just a scalloped edge. And that works really well because I just add it to sort of 3 different points on the layout. I do fuss with this bit here, deciding whether I want to add it to that layer or not. And again, this is a tab off the same sheet, and it's the same colours, so that works out really well. And I do end up just adding it to the side piece there. So I'm happy where that sits. So I'm just flipping my layout over here to trim some bits off and then sticking it all down. And as I said, this came together really quickly, and it's a good way of getting photos, you know, in an album. Just using a piece of that, it's the sort of grid design washi tape that I can't remember where I got it from, and I've nearly run out, and I did buy the that Love one from Freckled Fawn to kind of replace it, but it's not the same, so I'm going to have to look out for another grey, kind of pale grey washi tape, because sometimes you just want that washy effect but you don't want a bright colour. So here I am just going through my quirky kit and seeing what I've got in there, and I pull out these two, well there's 3 of them, they're the journaling cards, and this one says who, what, when, where, and so I think that's going to make a really good little spot for some journaling. So I'm just going to add that there, and I was thinking of splitting that up over the 2 bits, but that doesn't kind of really, the who and what doesn't kind of really add anything, so just adding a little bit of washi tape over there as well, so it wasn't a complete waste of me putting it down and you couldn't see it. Now I decide I want to add something to that top point because it was looking a little bit bare. I didn't do anywhere near as much layering as I normally would on a sort of 12 by 12 layout, but I kept my basic sort of principles the same. As I say, I'm really pleased with how it came out. So I'm just adding some more of that classic tan mist. I'm just using any excess that I had on that roller just to add another little bit of texture there. Here I am just taking out those flat back gems that we got in the quirky kit, and I'm just adding those like scattered across the page in a diagonal. Just adds a little bit of movement to the page, and I say this is exactly the same as I do on a 12 by 12 layout. And again, it's the same as when I'm kind of doing a 12 by 12 with a large photo cluster. You're limited with the space which you can place embellishments. So this is one of my plainer layouts, I will admit, but it kind of broke me into doing the smaller styles, so I think that is something I'm definitely going to do more of. And I say I will have another process video up this week, which will be the reverse side of this layout. So just thinking what else I want to add, so I pull out my wood veneer stash, and I decide to add a few wood stars, again just to echo across that sort of, you know, diagonal cluster there. And they are the Studio Calico wood pieces. So just sticking them on with my normal acrylic glue there. As I say, really that is the embellishment on this layout. I don't add much more than that, or if anything other than that. Here I am pulling out the Project Life stickers that came with the quirky kit, and these are a nice pale grey colour, so they work really well, but it's more what I'd call a brown grey, so it kind of works with the tones of this. So I'm just going to use these letter stickers to make my title. which is just simply Wallace Monument. Say this will just be a small, I'll write in the journaling a small piece about, you know, going up to see it. Other than that, there's not really much, but I wanted to include the photos because, as I say, it was kind of more of a touristy thing that we saw when we were there, so I wanted to include it. I am still really missing my pokey tool, and funny enough, I am actually thinking about getting my acrylics back on my nails at the weekend, and I was thinking, oh, if I do that, I really need to go and buy a pokey tool. So you may see me like fumbling about in some later videos if I don't find my pokey tool, just because, you know, I can't pick anything up with them. But still haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with my nails. But I just wanted to give a shout out to people who have like mentioned my nails. I think that's really, you know, it's a really nice thing to mention, and to be fair, you are just watching my hands, so it kind of makes sense that you've mentioned it. Yeah, anyway, so that is the layout and just my title. I will add some close-up pictures. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of, you know, slightly different style and size. Let me know what you think. If there's something that you do or you don't do or you've got no interest in, so just leave me a comment below and give me a shout or what you like. So here's some close-ups. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with some more layouts this week. Cheers, bye.